Welcome to another episode of Fine Hotel Dining with Salty.
Secret Asian man, secret Asian man, a Chinese Austin Powers on a mission for Chairman Mao.
Alright, tonight, what we got here, oh yeah, BC Truck Brad turned me onto these, or this, bacon spam. And I'm gonna make iron-fired fajitas with some onion, lime, spam, few other accoutrements, and some refreshments. All right, let's eat. Good steam coming off of there. Woo, doggies. Don't need no stinking utensils. Lime. Oop. Gotta get the onions. New guy in the Navy called them onions. Ooh, onion juice. Caramelized. This is roughing it, baby. Ooh, that is good. That is good. Little Famous Dave's. Just give it a little kick. And top it off. Sandwich spread. All this, I think, came out to about $6. $6 meal. Gonna eat over this. Wow, that's good. This has got to be up there with my engine cooked hamburger. The spam is just right. The lime flavor comes out.
Wilbur's Revenge gives it just the right amount of kick. Onions are nice and cooked, but not crispy. And they're sweet. And that lime takes care of any of the pungentness. Oh wow, that's good.
I can deal with this kind of roughing it. And look, there's a really, really crispy piece of that bacon spam. This makes me glad to be alive. Got me some reds, chilling in some ice here. Oops. Wow, look at that. Some days you just gotta treat yourself. Cheers to everybody. This is probably the best $8 meal I've had in a long time. Alright, let's have one more. Yeah, I'm on the road again. A couple of people asked me what I did for a living. I'm a desk jockey. I drive a desk and I push paper for a living. And you might think, as I did when I was turning wrenches and busting knuckles, that, man, it sure would be nice to be, well, not everybody, but people complain about people who drive a desk. Me too, me included. I gave them hell too. And said, I could do that job. And for me, yes, I can do that job. I think I'd do a decent enough job, enough for somebody to pay me to do it. But I tell you, it is probably harder mentally and more emotionally draining than it ever was turning wrenches. Now, turning wrenches is a physically demanding, and it's mentally demanding too. You have to know what you're doing, and you don't want to get in trouble, and you want to make sure you follow your processes and procedures. But the thing is, somebody else writes the procedures. You just follow them. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But when you're on my end, on the procedure writing end, it's not as easy as it seems, and like I said, it's a little more stressful. I'm not downgrading people who still turn wrenches for a living. That is a valuable profession, valuable skill to have. But I wouldn't say the problem, but the challenge with paper pushing is what I say to people in my company. Let me take a bite. That is such a wonderful combination of flavors. Anyway, what I tell people in my company and what I tell people that I deal with is that
if it isn't written down, it didn't happen.
So my job is to make sure everything is documented in such a way that it's user friendly. I mean, there's documentation for the sake of documentation. Anybody can write, well, not anybody, but most people can write stuff down. Does it mean anything? And then there's record keeping. It's a lot of CYA. I'm down here on business for an audit. I don't know how many you people. Yeah, you. I don't know how many of my viewers ever heard of ISO. That's what I'm down here doing. I'm in the middle of an ISO audit. It's nerve-wracking because you always kind of second guess yourself. Did I do it right? Did I make sure the documentation's done right? Did I follow up on the documentation? And they're not looking at stuff that happened yesterday or the day before. They're looking at stuff that happened 2-3 years ago. And you have to come up with that documentation, even though you may or may not have worked in the company at that time. And you have to know where all the documentation is, or you have to know who to talk to find that document. And it's all about documentation. But if you don't have documentation, you can't prove that it happened. And not that having the documentation proves that it happened. It's more proof than not having it, if you guys understand that. So, to me, there's a lot more accountability in the job. I assign my name to a lot of things, and I'm in charge of making sure the process is followed. I don't necessarily have to use the system. I just have to make sure people know how to use it and use it correctly and make sure that the document when it goes wrong. So, it's a very high accountability job, and it's a living. And I'll go more into it in other videos and talk about how it ties into the whole scope of things in my life. But I feel very fortunate to have that job. Even though it is challenging. I mean, you kind of want a little bit of a challenge to your job, right? You don't want it to be too boring. But sometimes boring is good. I'm happy. I'm overall happy. The travel gives me opportunities to go out and meet people, see things that I normally wouldn't have. But yeah, it takes me away from my family. It's all part of life, So that's about all I got. My Spam, onion, lime, fajitas, and some Reds. I didn't crack open the terrapin, but that's all right. You guys don't need to see me drink any more than you already do.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good night. Thanks.